Hey everybody, David Britt, MSOM 602, Servant Leadership, Module 2. You have the first week in the bag. So make sure I'm going to be grading over the next couple of days. I've already graded some of the discussion forums because the first week is kind of sort of simple from that perspective. So as long as you met the criteria, I went ahead and graded them. But you'll make sure that you go into the grade book and click on the grade, and you'll see my comments both on your discussion forums and also on your applications and your papers and memo exercises. So, and then I just want to remind you, make sure you check out the announcements. You'll see I already have several in here, and I've got one that you'll see tomorrow already queued up and ready to go. So make sure you look at that, and then also make sure that you always check your CSU email account, because that's where you'll see these that are sent via email. It's also where you'll see any comments that I have for you individually or specifically. So this week, Learning Module 2, Lesson 2, Week 2, talks about serving customers, serving customers. So what we're getting to here is we're going to be focusing over the different few weeks on serving. So this is a course on servant leadership, so we will talk about serving. You can't be a servant leader if you do not serve. And so the textbook readings that you have this week, if you have the third edition, you're going to be reading chapter 3, and then you're going to jump forward to chapter 17, which is kind of a flip-flop of what you'll see in the prior editions. But again, the material is similar in those two areas. So third edition book people, chapter 3, empowerment, chapter 17, serving customers. Prior edition, chapter 3, serving customers, chapter 4, empowerment. Okay? Make sure you check out the lecture this week, and then there's a video from Blanchard on legendary customer service. And so that's something that you're going to see this week, is talk not necessarily about customer service, but how can you provide legendary customer service going forward, all right? And so this week, the deliverables, the things you have to do, the things you have to turn in, will be 3 things. The discussion board talks about customer service. Now, customer service these days means different things to different people. And some people may think of customer service in one way, and they focus on speed and response, and other people focus on hand-holding and care and those types of things. Now, in the video this week and also in the readings, Blanchard talks about establishing legendary customer service. So what I want you to do is to talk about what the phrase legendary customer service would mean to you, okay? And then the assignment this week, it presents an interesting concept, and it really talks about it from an empowerment perspective, and it's the upside down pyramid. I mean, when you think about a traditional organizational structure, you think about the boss, the leader, the CEO, or the head of a department being at the top, and then you have people underneath him or her who support the boss in those areas. Well, what Blanchard presents this week is an upside down pyramid. And so it talks about how can an upside down pyramid not only be good for employees, but how can it be good for customers? How can putting information, putting responsibilities, putting response in the hands of your employees actually impact customers? And so I want you to study this upside down pyramid and then present it in a paper this week, and then do a compare and contrast between an empowerment culture and a hierarchical culture that would be a traditional pyramid, okay? And then the memo this week talks about customer service, and so you're going to have all different types of customer service, and what I want you to do is to draft a memo to the people on your team, to the employees, that explains your definition of customer service. So you can pretend it's whatever business that you want it to be, but just make sure that you are incredibly clear to your people on what your definition of customer service would be. And again, I go back to the statement that I make on these memo exercises. If you're not clear in defining that for your people, they are going to define it for themselves, and their definition may be totally different than your definition. Okay? And so this is about serving customers this week. So we're going to talk about customer service in each one of the components of the module this week. All right? If you have any questions about any of this stuff, give me a call. Be on the lookout. I'm also going to send a couple of extra videos out this week with some examples that I had of what I would consider to be legendary customer service. All right? If you need me, reach out. I'm available.